The film begins with Enzo running away from the cops after stealing a wristwatch. He came across a group protesting against violence, and a police car emerged from the front. He ran in another direction, and the cops continued to follow him. He got into a container in a river, and they followed him, forcing him to jump into the water to escape. As he was about to leave, he came into contact with radioactive waste after accidentally breaking a barrel beneath the river level. After emerging from the water, Enzo is overcome with nausea and begins vomiting. Weakened and exhausted, he makes his way home, coughing and struggling to breathe. Throughout the night, he is plagued by illness, spending hours vomiting and in discomfort. As dawn breaks, Enzo awakens from fitful sleep, feeling slightly better than before. The worst of the sickness is past. Enzo rises from his bed. Enzo eats his breakfast and sets out to find Sergio to sell him a watch. He goes to Fabio's place but was told Sergio was busy, so he waited outside. Inside, an argument between Fabio and Pinocchio is unfolding. Pinocchio expresses reluctance about getting involved in trouble and asks what happened with the plan to hit the armed trucks, while Fabio insists on taking advantage of opportunities presented to them. Fabio mentioned a planned delivery involving Nunziolo Cosimo fronting a kilo with a tight turnaround time for payment. Pinocchio decides to leave, mentioning he'll handle the armored truck job with his brother-in-law's people. But Fabio becomes furious and hits Pinocchio on the head with the phone, accidentally killing him. Sergio found Enzo waiting for him outside. He purchases the watch from Enzo for 100 euros. As Enzo prepares to leave, Sergio invites him to his home. At Sergio's house, Enzo meets Alessia, Sergio's daughter, who is psychologically troubled and finds solace in watching the Steel G9, often drawing parallels between the show and her reality. Sergio takes Enzo along for a job involving extracting cocaine from inside a pair of drug mule brothers. Despite one of the brothers being sick, Sergio insists on proceeding with the operation before seeking medical help. They arrive at the top of a building under construction, where one of the brothers dies from a drug overdose when the container in his stomach ruptures. Sergio callously refuses to take the dying man to the hospital, opting instead to proceed with extracting the drugs. The surviving brother grabs Sergio's gun and shoots Sergio, fatally wounding him. Sergio retaliates by bashing the brother's head against a pillar. Amidst the chaos, the brother manages to shoot Enzo in the shoulder, causing him to stagger backward and fall off the building. Enzo miraculously survived and woke up. He then fled from the scene. Sperma was on the phone with Sergio when he was shot and told the others that he couldn't find him. Fabio heard the news while he was with the people that were waiting for the drugs. Enzo went to his apartment and Sergio's daughter found him on the stairs. She asked about her father, but he ignored her. She followed him demanding an answer, then he got into his house and closed the door. Inside, he cleaned his wounds and sat. Sergio's daughter was knocking, and now she's ringing the bell. He got angry, got up, and punched the door, and his fist burst through to the other side. Sergio's daughter ran from there. Enzo, amazed by the strength, went to his house and began pushing and picking things, discovering that he possesses exceptional strength. That night, he steals the entire ATM and takes it home. He took out the money and bought groceries and medicine for his wound, but he discovered that he was completely healed and had no wound. Fabio and the others were asking Sergio's daughter, Alessia, about her father's whereabouts. Enzo was heading downstairs, and he saw them standing at the door. When she mentioned a friend, Enzo signed not to talk as he approached. He then lit a cigarette and stood, which caused Fabio to become angry and slap him, telling him to leave. Fabio and his men entered the house to search. When they touched her DVD, Alessia scratched Fabio, and he began beating her. Enzo burst through the window wearing a mask and fought all of Fabio's men. Fabio threatened to kill Alessia with a knife and was about to leave, but she escaped. Fabio stabbed Enzo's leg and left. After they left, he noticed that one of his toes had been cut. As he was about to leave, Alessia asked if she could go up to his house. When he realized she recognized him, he removed his mask and took her to his place. He gave her food and told her to stay there to protect her from Fabio. Inside Sergio's spectacle case, Enzo finds some kind of plan. The next morning, Enzo asked where she was staying while her dad was in jail, and he took her to a residential care home. Fabio and the others watched security footage of Enzo stealing an ATM. They recognize him as the same person who previously attacked them. Ricca arrives, and they discuss a plan to get money to pay Nunzia off for the missing cocaine. When Fabio entered his office, he found Nunzia's men waiting for him. They informed him that Sergio had been shot. He asked about the drugs, but they reminded him that he had claimed to have them. With an air of mockery, they laughed at Fabio before leaving, telling him he needs to pay Nunzia. Enzo went to rob an armored truck using the information he found in Sergio's spectacle case. Fabio and the others were also there to rob the truck, but he got there first. Fabio shot at him, but he missed. Police officers arrived at Enzo's home. They were there because they discovered Alessia on the road. He brought her in but informed her that she could not stay. Alessia, trapped in the fantasy world, insists that he help more people and save her father. She saw he bought the entire collection of steel jade and asked if they could watch it. While they were watching, she held his hands and he scooted closer to her. When he does, Alessia begins crying and shouting, having a mental breakdown, and he attempts to calm her down. Fabio saw some guys spraying paint outside his office walls and told them to go away. When he checked what they were doing, he found a drawing of Enzo wearing a mask and holding an ATM. Enzo took Alessia to an amusement park and later bought her a dress she admired. Alessia kissed Enzo and Enzo responded, unaware that Alessia was experiencing trauma related to past sexual abuse. This caused distress for Alessia, bringing back painful memories and emotions. Ricca informed Fabio that he had called Nunzia and arranged a meeting at 3 o'clock. Fabio questioned Ricca's authority, but Ricca stated that Nunzia had been waiting for the money all day. An argument ensued, with Ricca expressing frustration and asserting his authority. As Ricca was leaving, Fabio instructed Tassi to release the dogs and they went and ate Ricca. Alessia confronts Enzo, accusing him of failing to fulfill this superhero mission and betraying her father. Enzo told her about her father's death. Alessia screamed at him, crying, and ran away in a bus. Enzo came and stopped the bus, and people began filming him. He got on the bus, apologized to Alessia, and carried her with him while everyone recorded. Then a loud thud was heard, and smoke appeared in the skies. Fabio contacts Brazilian loan shark Marcelone and requests a loan. Nunzia arrived with her gang and attacked them while they were still in the car. They shot Marcelone and threatened to burn Fabio alive. Then Marcelone stood up and shot Nunzia's men. Fabio has no choice but to shoot them all in order to leave no witnesses. However, Nunzia escaped with the money. Fabio, angered by this, shoots Marcelino. Enzo accompanies Alessia to see her father's body. Overwhelmed with grief, Alessia bids her father a tearful goodbye, finding closure in this final moment of farewell. With a heavy heart, she expresses her desire to leave. When Fabio arrived at his office, everyone was shot. The television was on, and he saw Enzo carrying Alessia. According to the reporter, he is connected to the robberies and is most likely the person who people refer to as a super criminal. Fabio then drove to Enzo's place with Tessina. Upon noticing Enzo and Alessia leaving, Fabio decides to follow them discreetly. Concerned for Alessia's well-being, Enzo takes her to a hotel room where they find a moment of respite. As they settle in, Enzo opens up about his past, sharing personal experiences and reflecting on the challenges he has faced. In the morning, the phone rang and Enzo got up to answer. As he was asking who it was, Fabio got in with a tranquilizer gun and shot him, making him pass out. Tessina took Alessia and Fabio asked Enzo how he got his powers. Enzo told him he didn't know, but they blackmailed him into telling them using Alessia. Enzo took Fabio to the river, but he didn't trust him, so Fabio asked Enzo to get in the water and bring the barrel. In the car, Tessina attempts to touch Alessia, prompting her to defend herself with her knitting needle. Alessia stabs Tessina, using the only weapon at her disposal to fend off the threat. Seizing the opportunity, she escapes from the car. As Enzo and Fabio are arguing, Nunzia arrives with her men and attacks Fabio. Alessia, after escaping, came running and she got shot in the middle and died, telling Enzo to use his powers for good. Fabio got shot and then burned alive by Nunzia with a flamethrower and died in the river. The next day, Fabio emerged from the river scarred and burned, but with superpowers like Enzo. He went to Nunzia and killed all of her men while recording himself. Then he started dancing with her and hugged her tight, crashing her bones. Enzo was walking, devastated by Alessia's death. A family passing by saw him while they were driving, and the father got distracted while looking at Enzo and they crashed. Police came and got the mother out, but the daughter stuck. Enzo went to the car and saved the girl. As Enzo watches the television, he is confronted with a video showing Fabio threatening to bomb the Stadio Olimpico while standing in Nunzia's home, which is revealed to be filled with weapons. Enzo arrives at the location and confronts Fabio. Without hesitation, they engage in a fierce physical altercation. In a flurry of punches and grappling, Enzo and Fabio struggle for dominance. Fabio ran and put the bomb in a car. Enzo drove the car, but a police car blocked his way and told him to get out of the car. Enzo got out of the car and used it as a shield from the police's bullet and ran with the bomb. Fabio caught up to him and took the bomb from Enzo. Then Enzo ran up to him and jumped to the river along with Fabio and the bomb. The bomb explodes in the river, causing chaos and destruction. Among the debris, Fabio's head is discovered on the bridge. Enzo, presumed dead, is hailed as a hero by reporters who recount his courageous actions. Enzo's legacy lives on as he is honored and revered by the public. From the vantage point of the Colosseum, Enzo, who survived the explosion, emerged looking at the city of Rome. Enzo, now exalted as a guardian of Rome, put on a jade mask that Alessia made for him, determined to defend the city. Enzo's journey comes to a definitive conclusion. He has faced adversity, confronted his demons, and emerged stronger than ever before. And with that, the movie ends.